Welcome to Matt Bayeski YouTube channel. What a beautiful day to talk about suffering. Yeah. No, suffering is not funny. Suffering is a difficult situation. As a healer over the years, many people brought their children to me, or their daughters who were maybe 30 or even 40, and saying, my daughter's going through terrible trauma. Many men used to come to me, really struggled with facing up to that depression energy, which is just an energy. It's not really a name. It's not really a thing. And young boys who were bullied at school. Lots of different reasons why this suffering took place. And a lot of the times I would give them healing and then they would come back again because the suffering would continue. I realized very quickly that you can't fix this by just giving a healing session. It does strengthen them and make them feel better until the point where the suffering continues because the bully continues, and so on. So in my mind, when I first started years ago, what can I do to help my client get through this suffering that once they've left here, they feel strong, they feel confident, but then it depletes, something happens, they get bullied again, or there's the same issue that comes to them. And of course, I was putting a crystal on them and I realized that, there's a pattern here. Why am I always choosing the same crystal? So I realized that there was one crystal in particular with sensitives that really worked well. And how I knew that is because one day I just started putting the crystal on the client after the healing session and they'd go. And the difference between, writing this down over 9 months, hang on a minute, this person came back suffering again, but the person that had the crystal didn't. So it became really obvious if you look at it in that kind of scientific brain set, or let's say, forget science, but just visually seeing something that's there in your face and being aware of it, that crystals really do make a difference, without a doubt. So it was interesting that the suffering that people were going through, that I was choosing one particular crystal. I'm wearing it today. And for a lot of people, they say, it's only that, it's everywhere, you can get it all over. It's a bit like water, really. And nobody really thinks about water until you're in a desert, and then you'll realize how important it is. Do you want me to show you what it is? Let me show you. Here's the crystal. There it is. Shot put. Isn't that beautiful? A most beautiful and phenomenal and magical and very powerful piece of rose quartz. Don't knock it until you've tried it. I cannot hold that up any longer. So getting back to what is in the property of rose quartz that makes it so phenomenal when it comes to clearing pain and suffering. For me, what I noticed about this crystal is it had a delicate energy. It was very subtle, but I realized that just because it's subtle doesn't mean that it doesn't hold a punch. It doesn't have power. It does. And it uniquely works in a way that targets the suffering. It works in a way that, especially the heart, it's phenomenal around the heart, but it's also, a lot of people don't know this about this crystal. It also works tremendously on the third eye. It opens up the crown chakra. It really does help with clearing the mind and opening you up to seeing things that you never saw before. When you are in a cesspit of suffering, it's hard to see anything, and you need something to shift and clear that energy. So it was this crystal that helped thousands of my clients who were suffering from terrible issues. So today I had 3 messages. I've just looked at them now, and the 3 messages are of mums and dads. One dad particular, a guy called Barry, and 2 mums, one I think Stephanie, and another lady, I can't remember her name, she just put her last name down and it's Italian. So you three, if you're watching this, I said I'd make a video for you and I'm going to explain how I help my clients and what I did. Everything that I do as a healer and everything that I share and everything that I use as spiritual tools, I share with you as my, let's say, secret, which it isn't. It's open freely to how I help my clients. There are certain oils you can use, there are certain crystals you can use, and there's certain techniques you can use. But most importantly, where the crystal sits is important. And I realize that environment is important too. So this is something that I would do for, let's say, somebody who was going through terrible trauma and stress that was past and present and future. So they would be in depression for many years. So I would give a healing session, and at that point of giving a healing session, I would normally have a bag, or I would have 3 crystals predominantly. 1 would be on the heart, or even 2 on the heart, or even 3 on the heart, depending on where I'm working. But the main crystals would be 1 for the body, or 2 for the body, or sometimes 3 for the body. So I'm trying to understand, how can I get the energy of this crystal so it's always on my client? How can I create that energy where if the client isn't wearing them, when are they most of all going to absorb the energy of that crystal? So I created this idea, and I'm going to now put this idea to you, and you can follow through with this idea by going to your local crystal store, or if you want to buy a pure energy healing crystal from me, I'm going to do something for 10 people. So I know 3 are definitely needing something. You've asked me and you said, tell me what I need, send it to me. So I'm doing it now for everybody, because somebody out there might be going through the same trauma and struggling and like, I just don't know what to do for my child. So this is something that might work very well. Now, bearing in mind that the energy that I put into these particular crystals are the same energy as I was using the energy healing on the clients. So the memory within these crystals that I share with you now is the memory that comes to you that is the same as a healing session. So that's the difference between going to your local store and buying off markbayerski.com. So I'll start with this. So this is a high quality rose quartz. It's cherry picked, and I've worked with these for now 6 months, on and off 6 months. Every time I'm doing a healing session on somebody and I'm doing absent healing and it's to do with clearing trauma, clearing suffering, I always carry maybe 7 or 8 of them on both hands and then do a full hour healing session. That ends up into this crystal. So this is the first thing I would recommend. You get yourself a nice little sphere. The reason why the spheres work really well is because they're easy to handle and they're really nice to hold. Bearing in mind that you can always use these to help heal yourself at any given moment by holding them when you're in the situation that you're in. But there's a benefit to the next product I'm going to show you. This is a high quality rose quartz. It's really good quality and it's stretchy, so it goes on your little child or somebody to wear. Now, if you've forgotten this, you're always wearing this. By wearing this, you've got the same energy. So that's always working on you all the time. So now you've got these 2 things. You've got one of these in your pocket and you've always got this around you, okay? Now, if you forget this and if you forget this, then you will receive this, which is again high quality rose quartz sphere, and it's mounted from Bali with MB collection stamp written on. So it's one of my beautiful pure energy crystals. So all of these combined, one in your pocket, one around your neck, like I've got one now around my neck, wearing one around my neck, and again this here, you've got 3 energies working simultaneously from below to the middle to the top. So it's working all the time, okay? Now, one of the things that I realized is that sometimes you won't wear them when you go to bed. And a lot of my clients didn't. So what did I do? I produced something that needed to sit by the bed. And what was that? This. I produced these, which are absolutely phenomenal. I'll just open it up and show you. It's a brand new one. This is what will come to you with this special offer. So what you have here, these are handmade in Bali, and these are my very own dream catchers. But the beauty about these dream catchers is that I worked on some crystals, and they were specially for this very reason. And if you look carefully, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high quality rose quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this is above your bed, for your child's bed or your daughter's bed or your son's bed, or even your bed if you're going through a challenging time. So it's above your bed. You're now getting the energy which is around you, and don't let the small sphere put you off. Let me tell you something. If you're in a room and it's dark and you imagine that small sphere is giving off light, it doesn't matter how big it is or small it is, it's giving off the same circumference of light. So they are very powerful. So you've now got your room in order where you sleep half of the day of your life. You've got 3 opportunities to always have either one or all the crystals on, which is again a protection, a comfort energy, and a very powerful energy of changing many things around you and within you. But finally, to finish off on a final note, using an oil on your heart, which is amazing, and also on your temples, third eye and crown chakra is amazing. And this is the oil that I am going to put with this kit, because this is an absolute beautiful ending to the day and the night. So when you wake up in the day, you rub this, which is called Golden Heart. Golden Heart has an amazing energy of healing, strengthening, and making you feel better, lighter, happier. It just gives you, the power of this oil is incredible. It really is. Yasmin is a fantastic healer, and predominantly there is 100% Yasmin with a base oil, which is phenomenal. My suggestion is you use this as a protocol. So you wake up in the morning, you rub it on your hands, you breathe it through your nose the first thing. If you can through the day, do the same thing, and at night before you go to sleep. But rub it on your heart every time, okay? But breathing in is fantastic because it does something to the physical as well as the spiritual. So how many drops? I start to say now between 3 and 6 drops, depending on what you feel. I normally stick with 3 drops, but some people like to boost up to start with, so they use 6 drops to start with, and then when the pain and suffering eases, you go down to 3 drops. That would be my recommendation as a healer, and that's why I created these, and that's why this here is well over 250 euros, but now I'm going to do it at the best price I can, almost cost price, but we have to pay for the staff, so I have to figure out a price, but it's going to be slashed. And I promise I'm also going to do free DHL, which means it gets to you in 3 days. This has worked on hundreds and hundreds of my clients, so it's my gift in this way to you. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you use it and do the protocol, please. And you will find that in a short space of time, things will change. Miracles happen. You are the miracle. You just sometimes need a little bit of a inner flame boost to help you with crystals and with oils. If you can't afford this, then go down to your local store or start to use this method as you can, and you'll find that things change very, very quickly. With all my heart, have a great day. Take care.